Hello and welcome to Dr. Fixmaster. Let's talk about Jeep shift knobs. I had to take my Jeep shift knob off because I was, if you're dropping the transmission or you're changing out the boot or you're doing anything to this center console or you need to fiddle with the attachment of these belts. I got it back from the mechanic one day and the belt, this thing was actually inside of the center console, and I had to take it all off. And any situation, there are several, that you have to take that shifter knob off. That can be a real problem, and it was a bear. I pretty much destroyed the shifter knob trying to get it off. So I'm going to just offer you a little trick that saved me some time and allowed me to replace the shifter knob with something similar without too much trouble. So the original Jeep shifter knob is round. It has this pattern on it, and basically you have to get something under the edge of the round piece on the top and pop it off, and then there's a bolt way down inside that you have to unscrew. Once you unscrew that, then the original shifter knob will come off, and that's all good and fine, but that piece that was on the top was on too hard. It had stuck together so bad I destroyed the shifter knob trying to get it off. So I bought this one. This is from Crown, and the threads are, let's see, I've written it down here, M10 1.5. So it's 10 millimeters. I'll show you. Come on. 10 millimeters across. And then the thread pitch, the distance between, may not be focusing properly, the distance between each thread is 1.5 millimeters. So that's pretty small. The problem is you buy a shifter knob replacement like this and you screw it on and you go, oh yeah, I'm done, and it does that to you. It doesn't line up. So how do you get this thing to be right there when at the bottom it's like that? Well, if I was able to turn this counterclockwise from its tightest position back to the right position, that's how much of a turn? So that's probably about a quarter of a turn. If the distance between each thread is 1.5 millimeters, a quarter of that, say, it's a little bit math I can't do in my head, but on a piece of paper you can crank it out and find out what a quarter of 1.5 is, and then go just a little bit more than that. If you buy a washer like this one, that's a little bit more, you can see that's a very thin washer. If you buy one that's a little bit more, it's an M10 hole, it's just a little bit more than 1/4 of the thread pitch. And what does that do for me? Well, all you have to do is you take this baby off. Once your washer arrives in the mail, you drop it on to there, and it just offsets your shift knob a little bit, so that when you put it back on, it rotates, and it binds up earlier. So earlier in the process, so you get something that is just a little bit too much. If it's just a little bit, I needed a quarter, so this got me a little bit more than a quarter, as you can see, because it's now too far that way. But that's the key. You want it to be just like that, because what you do is once you see about how much you need to come back in the other direction, all you have to do is make that washer, as thin as it is, just a little bit thinner. You can do that with one of these. You just put it down on the cement, tap it, tap, 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 just a little bit, because you don't want to do it too much. And as that washer gets thinner, the point at which this tightens up starts to rotate to the right. And you can just repeat that process until you get that washer exactly the right thickness to be in the right position. Now on this one, if I I've done that on this washer that I just put on there. And if I tighten that up nice and tight, that's what you get. It's centered nicely now, and that's a trick that will work for anyone who has any kind of a shifter knob, actually, that is a screw-in variety like what you see on a Jeep. And you know, that's a little cosmetic thing that probably frustrates a lot of people, but that's a quick and easy and cheap fix that you can do to make that pretty again. Thank you very much. If you like this information, please like or subscribe or both, and happy fixing.